Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of StarSound Speaks, episode 179. This is your host, Irlianna Samsara of StarSound Astrology. So this week's Astro, we've got a number of things going on here, planets moving into new signs, and so we'll get right into it. Okay, starting tomorrow, July 17th, Sunday, July 17th, we have, as we can see here in the, share the screen, and we've got the Mercury has just moved out of that cazimi with the sun, which happens today, Saturday. And so this divine audience with this divine mother, we could say, and really moving and contemplating deeply, we have a deep opportunity to connect with the divine mind and what divine mother wants us to feel and express and be vulnerable with. So our mind, Mercury, right, having this audience, this divine audience. I say divine mother because the sun in the sign of Cancer, right, the goddess. So that nurturing part of ourselves, the part of ourselves that wants to be heard and gets nurtured by being heard. And for us to listen to others too in a kind, compassionate way is certainly, these are all things that we could contemplate with this cazimi. But tomorrow, when we start on Sunday through the following, from Sunday the 17th until Saturday the 23rd, we are having so that's what we're covering it starting tomorrow. So Mercury's moving out of that cazimi, and so it's it's called combust. It's kind of like has to run the gamut of getting out of this palace where it's had this divine audience and it's leaving, and so it still doesn't know itself. It's like we're processing this information about our nurturing and ourselves and being intuitive and being compassionate and intuitive with our feelings and being vulnerable, and feelings of comfort, food, home, security, mother, family are all what's up. And so as you can see here, Mercury is conjunct. This is a planet called Ceres, C-E-R-E-S, and it looks like a Sith, right? Because the word Ceres is from cereal. The word cereal comes from, I should say, the word cereal comes from Ceres, the Greek goddess of the grain. And so this is about how do we nurture ourselves? When we listen to ourselves, when we listen to others, is it in that kind, considerate, nurturing way? Are we making ourselves vulnerable? Are we allowing tears? Yesterday, I just had to put down my cat of 13 years, Lucas. Didn't see it coming, very sudden. I looked at the astrology of that, and the moon was exactly to the degree and minute partile conjunction with Saturn, sudden endings in the sign of Aquarius. It was very jarring. I wasn't expecting it. So yeah, it was definitely challenging astrology. So I'm allowing myself to cry. I've done thank God for EFT tapping. If you've ever had grief or anxiety or anything, the tapping is wonderful. If you're not familiar with it, I'll put the link below. But anyway, this is definitely a rich, ripe time to be exploring these things, to be really kind to ourselves. As you can see here, the Ceres is exactly opposite Pluto. So we are really looking, this is an important time these next few days, when as Mercury is in that opposition, and the sun right next to it, right? We're looking at some really deep power here, about powers of mother, power of in our society, what parts are where our system is broken and what needs to be repaired in terms of, developing a compassionate framework with which to reinvent our society. This is a really big, loud conversation that's happening, especially over the next few days. Anytime the sun is in opposition in Cancer, this time of the year, the sun is going to oppose Pluto. So these issues come up, as you can see here, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's exact on Wednesday. and there's Ceres with it. So this year we have Ceres and Mercury there. So that is definitely giving us this opportunity to reinvent our speaking and listening with this compassion as we address these really, really deep pain bodies that we've had collectively, our collective DNA in society, as well as our own structures of reality, our own families, family dynamics. This is, again, another powerful time for that. So, you know, just be really, and as it's doing that, as you can see, it's trining, making a trine, my little marker. I love this thing. It's making this trine to Neptune, right there. How do you like that for a straight line? Hey, it's Neptune, it can be wobbly. So I'm being good to myself. No criticism. Anyway, so there's the, but here, look, here comes Virgo. Clear all drawings. Okay, let's go again. I have Mercury in Virgo, what can I say? Oh, I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. But anyway, as you can see here, it is making that exact, oh my goodness, that Virgo perfect arrow. Don't you love it? Anyway, so the idea being that it is making that trine with Neptune, as it's also in and then here's that sextile. You know, it's been in sextile for 160 something years. So that's not the news of the day, but it is with this, as you can see here. So when it makes, as it makes that trine with Neptune, what does that mean? Well, you know, what's an ideal, what is the ideal situation? What can we completely devote ourselves to, like a bhakti? I always think of bhakti when I think of Neptune, like the planet of devotion, especially in its home sign of Pisces. It's been there for many, many years. So it's this developing this beautiful ideal, free of delusion and illusion, you know, really looking carefully, but desiring what we hope and dream and wish for, that is this perfect alignment of love and compassion, and addressing the roots and our genealogy and anything painful from the past with that love and compassion, allowing any subconscious patterns that may come up to say, you know, it's okay. We're just going to be kind to ourselves, and we're going to reinvent ourselves from this foundation of compassion. Think about all the mantra and kirtan artists that, you know, how kirtan and chant has so much come to the fore in the last, I don't know, 15 years it takes about for Neptune to go through a sign. It's almost as long as Pluto. And so look at all those amazing, you know, Krishna Das and Deva Premal, Jai Uttal, you know, Sanatam Kaur, you know, there are so many amazing kirtan artists. MC Yogi for more of a reggae, you know, world beat, you know, so you think about that, and it's pretty fantastic that that is coming along in support of this outrageous transformation of our society. All right, so like again, Sun opposition Pluto for the next few days, be really good to ourselves, address that vulnerability in ourselves, be vulnerable, be open. That is what is going to heal the toxic patriarchal structures that have enslaved us for hundreds and hundreds of years, you know. So yes, I say hundreds because I'm thinking about like the 1500s when we had when we remember in 2020 when we had the big conjunction Saturn Pluto with the South Node in Capricorn, which hadn't happened since the Protestant Reformation. So you're looking at 500 years of a pain body, you know, of just that cycle, you know. But so it is absolutely, it is critical at this time, again, as we are moving through this Pluto return of the USA, right? It's a slow burn. And it's going to be happening, you know, we're at that point where 1 degree, or really at that point, as you can see here, where 27 degrees is when the USA Declaration of Independence was signed. So we're in this really deep ferment, and it'll be back at exactly at that point right around Christmas. So, and then Pluto, of course, goes into Aquarius in March. And so it's a process that's over the next year and well into next year and back, it's going to cross. So this is a very profoundly important transit that is, it's a slow burn, and many fast moving planets go square and oppose and conjunct it. And so it's, again, bringing up that change. So we are going to have a big one. We are moving through that right now, as you can see here. Okay, clear doings. Yes. Okay. On we go to the next. So I would say, perhaps this could be about creating or working out a proper sustainable container or foundation or container to feed ourselves, not just physically feed ourselves, because that is certainly coming up, series about agriculture and grain, like how are we going to invent a society where we all take care of each other, where everyone is fed physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. But for sure, food's coming up really loud, with inflation and all. Backing, now we did see gas prices going down. Of course, Neptune's Jupiter is Neptune, which rules gas and vapors, right, is retrograde, but Jupiter is about to go, as you can see here, Jupiter's at 8 degrees, it's about to station retrograde. So I saw, interesting, because Jupiter's about inflation. So as you saw, the prices at the pump have started falling rapidly. So I'm like, oh, that's nice. There's some good stuff happening here. All right. So tomorrow, as all of this is happening with that opposition, Venus is going to enter the sign, as you can go back to the Sunday. We can see here, as you can see, Venus, which has been socializing with merriment and trickster and curious energy for the last several weeks in the sign of Gemini, mental and curious and networking and buzz. Well, now she's going to enter the sign of Cancer tomorrow on, it'll be from July 17th until August 11th. So Venus will be in the sign of Cancer. And so this is, of course, the sign of the goddess. And again, like I've said it earlier, that's a mute sign. Cancer being the crab. The crab doesn't speak. It doesn't have a voice, an audible voice, like other, the other zodiac signs, such as, Aquarius, the water bear, or the ram, the Capricorn ram, Aries ram, Capricorn goat. These are animals that have voices. But with the mute signs, the water signs, mute, it's like, okay, you feel like there's a mute button on, but maybe what's really being muted, when you think about it, you might feel frustrated, like, oh my goodness, am I being heard? Can I connect with people in a way that people can hear me and can feel me, right? You think about the feels with Cancer being an emotional sign. But I would say, it's very much an intuitive connection. Where Mercury and when Venus was in Mercury's temple of Gemini, there was a lot of buzzy head stuff, and that's fun. Mercury, the fun-loving trickster, partying, socializing. But now when Venus in Cancer, it's more like, hey, what I really want to make is, I don't want to make a head connection so much. I mean, that's great, I went from there, but now I want to go deeper and more intuitive and more feeling. So Venus in the sign of Cancer is going to be about from thinking to feeling, to bond not with our minds, but with our emotions and our hearts. Then Tuesday we have Mercury goes into the sign of Leo. So Mercury has been in that touchy-feely listening sign, right? It's been in the womb of Cancer, where it's really developing and wanting to birth something in that cosmic amniotic fluid, right? And then now it's like, okay, I've been doing enough feeling, intuiting, and now, the Leo lion, right? Mercury, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to take that primordial soup, and I'm manifesting myself as the sun god, Leo, and I'm going to express myself and tell everybody I'm here. So I'm going to work and I'm going to network myself in terms of creative expression and bold adventure and fun. So from July 19th to August 4th, Mercury will be in that sign of Leo. And so that can be a lot of jolly fun. Now, of course, the shadow side is, you may, don't talk over people. Try not to, I work on this anyway. But try not to talk over people. Sometimes we get so excited. We're like this big kid, right? Leo, the ultimate big kid. And we get so excited, and it's like, we have to tell somebody and we can't wait. And we're full of, okay, okay, fire, right? Like calm that fire down. It's like, and brilliant creative ideas are certain to come to the surface in that sign of Leo, in Mercury in the sign of Leo. So self-expression all the way, party all the way, just have fun. We need fun. We need fun. We need fun-loving, curious, and we take our Mercury curiosity and then we apply it to art, and we apply it to parties, and we apply it to being warm and generous. So you get the idea. Okay, then Wednesday, Wednesday, July 20th, we have Mars. Mars crosses the April 30th solar eclipse point. And so that's always, whenever you see Mars, especially Mars of all the planets, crossing an eclipse point, that's when action, right? Mars, the planet of action and aggression and movement and goals and drive, that's going to hit the eclipse point at 10 degrees of Taurus. So whatever was going on for you around in our eclipse season, which was April 30th, and then May 16th was a lunar eclipse, so that 2-week window, whatever got stirred up there, it's like, okay, it's time to move. It's time to get off it and move wherever we've been stuck, right? Mars and Taurus is like, oh, slow and steady, slow and steady. It's like, okay, great that we're slow and steady, but now it's time to get moving and have some kind of breakthrough around that energy. You know, as I said in my previous video I did on Mars and Taurus, you know, a lot of the way Mars is not really at home in Taurus, it's actually in exile. And so what Mars likes to do is I'm going to be me. I'm going to just me. But Mars in Taurus is learning to collaborate with others. So if there is something that you've been wanting to collaborate for, something that got revealed to you in the April 30th to May 16th, you know, the eclipse season, then now regarding, you know, breaking free of old stuck feelings, maybe ways of being that are not productive, that where you feel stuck or stagnant, now is the time. You're going to find between now and Wednesday, especially, it'll peak Wednesday, but there'll be some action. Maybe you'll feel more grounded in what you need to do. Being centered and calm as we take action. That would definitely be up for Mars and Taurus at that solar eclipse point. But whatever it is, it's definitely gonna, you know, really move forward. So a cutting off of stagnation, you could say. The moon at the same time is going to, oh, by the way, I just want to say about eclipses, you know, any planet that crosses, usually it's something fast moving. It's rare that you have an outer planet because it has to be in the same sign. So really we look at Mars as the one when we have eclipses. The moon, every month, the moon passes those eclipse points, right? It's just the moon, it goes fast, 28 days. So you kind of get a whiff of those eclipse signatures, but you know, the moon moves so quickly that it's a whiff. Now, Venus, it's a lovely little connection, right? But with Mars, it's like, go, you know, hit that gas pedal. Anyway, the same day, the moon's going to do a T-square with Pluto in the sun. So whenever the moon conjuncts or opposes or squares Pluto, we feel it. It can bring up a lot of deep emotional things, bonds with family, feeling maybe insecure about security, you know, and with it and the sun, with Pluto and the sun. So it's that T-square. Wow, let me pull that up. Hold on. Okay, so as you can see here with our wonderful little arrows, here's the moon, and it's coming into a T-square with the sun and Pluto. So that is a definite, and these are all cardinal signs, right? So this is definitely about making changes, moving forward. The moon in Aries is like, okay, it's you know, it's in Mars's temple, so it's definitely about action. And what are we going to do around our society, our women, mothering? You know, this is again, of course, the moon it takes a couple of hours, you'll feel it. So this will be around Washington, DC time, Eastern Standard Time, around 8 a.m. Wednesday, the Wednesday morning. So even if it's in the sign of it, you feel it, but it'll be most acute in those early hours of Wednesday. It's like something's got to give, right? Okay, so there's that. And then we have Friday, we finally have the sun comes into Leo. So we'll have Mercury dancing with the sun in Leo for the next several weeks. And that'll be so much fun. Oh my God, can you imagine? Like go out and, you know, acting lessons, theater, parties, invite 9,876 of your closest friends to a party. It's Leo season. Anyway, I love that line. I got that from years ago. There was that movie with Tim. He was with Susan Sarandon for years. Tim Robbins, and it was The Player. It was this movie. It was a spoof about people in Hollywood, and it was Holly Hunter and Tim Robbins were boyfriend and girlfriend, and they were in this, you know, very complex studio politics in Hollywood, and he was dating somebody, he broke it up with her, and he brought some other girl to a party, and Holly Hunter confronts him, and she's with the straightest face, Robert Altman, great director, right? With the straight face, she goes, I can't believe you brought that girl to the party with 9,870, no, actually, she said something like 785 of my closest friends. Just like that. It was so great. Anyway, so I ripped it off. I borrowed it from that. That's my Leo statement. So the sun comes into Leo, and I'll do a separate, of course, I'm going to do Leo profile. Yours truly, being Leo, do you think? The sun is in its domicile in Leo. It's exalted and its domicile ruler, and it's the king of the hill. Mercury at the same time, by that time, so it'll be in Leo, but it'll be out from under the beams of the sun. So now it's known, it knows itself. It had that, you know, our mind had that deep download of kindness and love and compassion sitting on Divine Mother's knee, you know, today. And now it's like, now it'll come out and it'll really see itself fully. It's like, okay, now I have my voice. Now I can speak. Now I can breathe. I can take this really important information and put it and go just be joyful and jubilant with it. How I connect with others, what I think of others, my speaking and listening and communicating with others. It could be jubilant, it could be joyful. Like I said, as long as you're not domineering, try to avoid the vanity, domineering, dark side of Leo, right? So, but I trust you, you'll be fine. It's out from under the beams. It becomes the evening star. So Mercury in evening star in Leo would be like warm embers. So it's probably going to be a little easier to handle that dominating Leo side because of it being the evening side. It's has a more feminine yin feeling to it. More warmth, more, it's less hyper. Maybe there's parties in the evening. Certainly a more jubilant but relaxed creativity. So I think that's, yeah, that's about all I wanted to say for this week. And I hope you all have a very wonderful week full of merriment, full of soon to be Leo merriment. And anyway, as always, we are here for you. I love any kind of sharing you have. How's your week doing? We love to hear from you. So you could either zip me an email, Irlianna at StarSoundAstrology.com, or really just leave those comments below. Like, share, subscribe. It so helps the channel. And we're so thrilled to be with all of you guys. So, all right, all for now, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. This is Irlianna Samsara, StarSound Speaks, StarSoundAstrology.com. Namaste.